play this stupid song.
Oh, we might try to get some of the new guys on too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're back. You sons of guns. And evidently we have like all of Las Vegas as a guest today.
Yeah, we still got tons of people out by the pool here.
All right.
Nice.
Well, Devin, welcome back to the show, man. How'd it go yesterday?
We made the best. We made the best of everything that was put in front of us.
Yeah, you did.
I'll give you a warning right now. I have not even slept. Okay. So if I'm subpar, give me some sleep.
You weren't subpar yesterday.
No, it was a great day.
Dude, those were amazing matches with you and Matt. They were so amazing.
I love arm wrestling Matt. He wants to beat me so bad, and it means so much to me to beat a person who wants to beat me so badly. It's a
Yeah, there's a lot of satisfaction in that, huh?
There is, because I feel like I get to feed off that emotion. I like that.
My son wanted to know if you were wearing pajamas.
Well, it was real casual, right? Birthday or was it a play day? I think this was Max Relax.
Yeah, it was Max Relax. So were you? What did you think of the win that Matt got on you?
Let me tell you, I'll beat Matt Mask any way, anyhow. I can play a little bit. I just, I got a round to play with. I can have it's not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Fun in there.
Well, it was a lot of fun. What did you think of it? What was the biggest surprise for you yesterday?
The biggest what?
Surprise.
There were a lot of surprises.
There were a lot of surprises.
Let me see. Well, I'd say maybe the biggest surprise. Oh, so many. Michael Todd winning the Supers. I would never have called that.
Really?
I wouldn't have. Just knowing the damage that Michael's had on his body.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Dave and Travis and Jerry. I mean, it's a lot to get through, and more. Like it's. Anyways, that's obviously one. I mean, the 165ers who said, I'm out and pulled 195. To have two 165ers in the finals.
Crazy.
That speaks a lot to just guys growing in the sport. Like those are legit 195ers now, right?
Yeah. Well, it speaks a lot too. It speaks a lot too. Also, that these 165ers, they walk around as 195ers, really legitimate threats.
That's right. So it kind of, the cut is such an interesting part of this sport. Does it work? Does it not work? Listen, I want to share with you. If this is my last thing I'll say, then I'll hand it over to somebody else. Craziest cut experience of my life. It was both the easiest and the best cut I've ever done in my life. So. So I just did carb manipulation and salt and water.
Sure.
No hot water at all. I got there. So walking normal 235, got to 222 after the event. Okay, so 36 hours later, like full of food, like full of water, I weighed 248.
God damn it.
Right? Like I was like, wow. Anyways, this salt.
Wait. Before you go,
stuff is you can do it well.
That's where it's at, huh?
All those guys, and that's the crazy thing. How strong would that 165-pound class have been if the guys had said, like Justin Bishop would have killed the 165-pound class this year?
Yeah.
Paul Talbot would have smashed. Like how far ahead were those guys in the field? maybe 195 far ahead, right?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Good show, guys.
Devin, before you go, what's next for you? This guy's already disappeared.
Oh, man.
James, what's up, man?
How you doing, man? I can
I'm
barely hear
doing
you.
good.
Yeah, I want to get some of the arm wrestlers on, man. I want to get my wife.
Yeah. Bring anybody you want on.
They're all.
I was gonna ask Devin what is he doing next. So when you see him walking around, ask him so he can tell me.
Yeah, and ask him how Jody is. How's Jody doing?
Yeah, how's Jody's bicep?
Well, you know what? We can take a quick look with the camera if you know what I mean.
Yeah, let's do that.
Quick John around the pool.
You ready? We're gonna do it quick.
Oh, jeez, this is gonna be an interesting show.
I'm getting
here.
motion sickness.
I just see this camera.
It looks pretty nice there.
I can feel the heat.
Yeah, my phone overheated today. I had to put it in the fridge.
Oh man.
Oh, look at that. Get some
Right.
naked people.
Sorry, I was
back
up
on
on.
this.
It was right on Devin's wife's bikini bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Devin didn't see it. Yeah, I want to get my a hammer winner in here.
Yeah, let's get a hammer in there.
Hi.
Whoa,
What's
what's up? How are you? You must be feeling pretty good.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still in shock.
You know, James told me he was 100% sure you were going to win one.
Yep.
So how you
What's
feeling?
it feel like?
Yeah, how you
What's
feeling?
it like?
What did you say?
I said, what's it like to have a hammer?
Oh, it's amazing. It was pretty crazy to walking through the casinos with it. 'Cause there
Yeah,
was, like,
right.
A lot of questions. It's pretty awesome. It's amazing.
She'll tell a story about when we left to go. She's gonna tell a story about how we left the place.
Okay, so listen to this. So after the tournament's over,
Just hit the button.
we're leaving, and I said, hold my hammer, because I have to text the Uber guy. So I handed it to him. I thought he was holding the hammer. And we get in the Uber, and I'm like, so where's my hammer? He left it in the parking lot.
Oh man.
That's a false story. Bill Six did it.
I gave it to
Bill
him.
Six had it in his hand. He set it in the parking lot. And it became like a speed bump for some of the cars that were going through there. We got it back. We saved it. We saved it. The Uber guy, there was 6 people trying to get that hammer back, but we got it, man. You thank goodness.
Get back there fast. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I got the crazy Angry Bird here, and he's like, you guys don't
dying
like
to
him.
get
You
out.
guys don't like him. And I said, what? You guys like Angry Bird?
Angry Bird.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
come on,
Bring him
whatever,
on.
sure.
Bring him on.
Hey, you're on. Wilma, here's your 5 minutes. Bring him in there.
Come on. Okay, this will be fun.
7 o'clock if you want to go to dinner. You got him coming in right now. That little Budweiser thing.
Okay, we can interview this towel in the meantime.
Hey,
Oh,
John.
this
Hey, Justin.
hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? How you,
So what do you
how you-
guys you want my unvarnished opinion on how things went down yesterday?
yeah, sure. Why not? Because you're usually so shy. Let's just try to like break that habit. And,
Oh, man. Well, I didn't do what I wanted to do yesterday. I know that much. Just the size of the venue and all the people there, the way Frank and Karen worked to put it on, it was a crazy day. I'm surprised they pulled it off in such a short period of time. But man, I don't know. I wish I'd have done better because I don't know when we're going to come together again like this, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll happen. You know, maybe, who knows what venue, but it'll happen.
Eventually, you know, I'm so young in this that this is the first time I've seen this happen where, you know, big money and TV has come in and gone away. So, you know, this is my first cycle for this, so we'll see how it goes, right?
Arm wrestling won't go anywhere. Don't worry.
Yeah, he holds the limelight pretty hard, don't he?
Yeah. Yeah, it ain't going anywhere. Don't worry, man.
So what do you guys think of that Sadoff kid, man?
I think
was,
he's a
very
beast.
impressed.
He's a beast. He always has been. He's a strong dude.
He teed off. I'll tell you, I felt like I handled him in Chicago a month ago pretty well, but yesterday it was a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
He went right through my lock. That don't happen very often, so that was surprising.
And that was with your right hand?
Yeah, that was with the right hand. He took second to Giannis, which, I mean, he was in it the whole way too. So
Sure.
I was impressed, to say the least.
Yeah, he was super impressive, and I think he surprised a lot of people. There were a lot of surprises yesterday, as you saw, so it was a lot of fun to watch. Do you think this will be the last WAL event we watch?
You know what? I don't think it will be. I think everything's on pause for a little bit, but I think it's going to come back with a little bit different of a format. I think it might go the super match route.
It says
I
7:30.
mean, it's hard to say, right? But I know Steve Kaplan's, working hard looking for more investors. So I know he's not going to give up on what he's put into it so far. That email that went out, that first one saying everything was canceled, from what I'm hearing, that was a mistake. Granted, it's a big mistake, but you gotta give him a little bit of leeway, right?
Yeah, that's true. So, what's next for you, dude?
AAA Nationals, 2 weeks, Battle Creek, Michigan. I'm going to go in there at 76 and try to give myself a little bit of redemption after what happened yesterday. I went 1-2 after I was thinking I was going to finish at least top 3, so it's kind of like, who am I and what am I doing here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've all had those experiences, but yeah, I'll see you in Battle Creek. I think I'll be 65, but I'll see you there.
65, yeah. I think my 65 days are done for a little while.
Bad cut?
I had a good cut this time. Chicago was a really bad cut for me. This time I made weight. I was a pound under. I rehydrated. I had a great rebound. I was 179 pounds going in the next day. But mentally, I came out flat. It was just, I'm trying to figure out what happened. I've been waiting the whole year for this, right? I wanted to see Craig Sanders so bad. And I finally get a match with the guy, and he just straight down pressure, whack. And it was, I couldn't get away. I couldn't do nothing about it except sit there and say, oh.
Yeah. Well.
All right. We got to get other people on the show. I can't take too much of your guys' time, but anything else?
6 minutes of fame.
No, that's good, man. Thank you for giving a few minutes for us.
You guys. I'll see you in 2 weeks. All right?
Yeah, later.
Who's next? It's like a rotating group of people coming on here.
Paul coming in now, man. Paul in. What you want both? You run both hands?
Yeah, I lost one match left hand.
One match left.
Bro,
what's up, Paul?
what's happening?
Yes, I follow religiously.
And here you are in person. Dude, you did well yesterday. I saw a whole bunch of your matches. You should be very proud of yourself. Especially, you just pulled like 2 weeks ago or last week, right?
Yeah, I pulled last Saturday.
That's what I thought. It's crazy.
It was last, and I cut the 200 to get to that. To get to be able to face Snook and a couple other decent guys. But that was after WAL was like, I don't even know what was going on at the time. So,
Right. Well, yeah, none of us did.
I know they're killing me on arm wrestling memes, and I love it. It's good and it's funny, and I love it.
I haven't seen them.
I made the decision to go to WAL as an amateur 6 months ago. Whether that's right or wrong, essentially 7 months in, and that was the decision I made, and I kind of stuck to it and couldn't go to Chicago for the regionals. So.
No, it is what it is. I mean, you're so new that who knows, man, right? I mean, there has to be a certain tournament where you perform well enough to go, okay, I'm not an amateur now. So that's what it is. It's not a bad thing, that's for sure. So, what weight did you come from to make 95?
To make not.
Or did you pull 225?
You pulled 225.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I weighed 210 way in.
Oh, okay. Were you coming down to 195? Was that your goal for a little while?
No, I mean, I trained primarily with Nitro and Storm and Snook, and there's no real future for me to bulk up to 225. Like I can't walk around at 240 and cut down.
Sure.
Like, my bone structure won't allow for it, but I can make 98, 95, 200 those classes. PAF has a 200-pound class, so I really only had to cut like 11 pounds to get there.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
It's
so
not
that's
bad.
not too bad.
Yeah, I did that water load in sauna.
Yeah, as long as you can actually stick to it, it's not too hard to cut that little bit of weight.
No. I'm still learning that. Got to get used to it. Though.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, once you get used to it, like I think half of it's like the mental drain from worrying that you're gonna make it.
It is. Me and a couple of teammates sat in the sauna for the cut for PAF, and that was like a test for all of us, like mentally. This is the first time we had done it. Like,
Sure.
like hard. We got to cut 4 pounds in the sauna, like right now, you know.
Yeah. Been there. So what's coming up next for you, Paul?
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna follow what WAO has to offer. I'm gonna follow what James Reed and Art Wood has to offer. I'm gonna go wherever Frank and Karen Bean has to offer. I'm gonna go wherever Denise Waddles and Leonard Harkless has to offer. I'm gonna go to Anthony Latero's tournaments. I'm gonna support everything that's out there.
So you're just gonna arm wrestle?
Do we know what's going on right now? As far as I know, I don't know what's going on.
October 28th, New England Championships.
There's a lot in the works, from what I hear.
Yep.
Yeah, arm wrestling ain't going anywhere. Don't worry.
Yeah,
You'll always be arm wrestling.
There's a lot in the works.
Yeah, exactly.
Up north in New York, I hear a lot of plans about like something a little bit more small scale, but could potentially be more for the arm wrestlers than what's currently available. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Dude, it's fun having you on the show because you're always commenting. You always have smart things to say. So now we have you right in front of us. Say something smart, man. Quick.
I have a lot of smart.
I can tell, man. You guys look like you've all been up 24 hours, and you know it's not like you've been visiting church.
If I had something smart to say, I would say that the people who saved this tournament right here, the people who orchestrated the huge turnout that still came about yesterday, and the energy involved in all of that is what I feel like arm wrestling is and possibly should be. Mm-hmm. So if you can still bring this amount of people to Vegas when people are talking about not coming, and if all of this positive energy can wind up in the same building for a dying league potentially, then where we want to go is going to be so much better. And I'm a year in, dude. But the shit could be very, very epic down the road. It's running for mayor,
and I just want to be a part.
Dude, it's fun having you on, man. And that was smart. You're right. Frank and Karen and Bart and all those guys deserve huge props for putting this on. I'm really glad they did. You guys deserved it, and I'm glad you went.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that you did well too, Paul.
All right. There you go. Who's next?
Yeah, listen, I don't know if anybody went over the numbers with you, but according to the security people, they had to check everybody. They had to check all the bags. They had to check all the IDs.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that event, they came to me and said they had 500 people come through those doors. 556. Wow. 556 for that tournament. That place was packed. And everybody was positive. It was a great time. I mean,
I have a frozen James Reed face.
Me too.
He's probably not going to be psyched when he sees the part that froze because it's not. Speaking of arm wrestling memes, this would be a good one right here, man.
Yep. Well, that's just unfortunate.
Do you hear Travis in the background?
No.
After that show, those guys don't even compete. I want to get him on here. I'm going to give him some crap. They went away.
Yeah, tell Travis Tell Travis go fuck himself. How's that sound?
Like he never hears that one. Nobody ever says, Travis, go fuck yourself. Did you see him? I don't know if you saw the first match between him and Mike Todd. Did you see that?
Though, is that the one where everybody's like really talking about how like terrible the reffing was?
The reffing was rough on that one for sure. They missed some crazy stuff, but the antics were equally ridiculous. I mean, Travis elbow fouled probably about 7 feet.
Yeah, that's the one I saw. Yeah.
And they called it as a win for Travis. And then Michael Todd basically it was amazing. He refused to leave the table. He's like, I'm not leaving. Because he put his arm into Montana, and I want the rematch. And they're like, no, it's a win. And he wouldn't leave the table. So he stood there for 5 minutes, and they finally broke down. Like, okay, we'll do it again. So when you think about it, number one, they should have caught that foul. But number two, I guess if you just stay at the table long enough, you're going to get a restart, which in this case was absolutely necessary. And but it was, I don't know, it was crazy. I was watching that live, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't, mostly because it was, obviously it's a Thursday that it happened on. I didn't have a chance to see any of it until, like, I picked through some of it today just because it's, I work all day, and then Thursdays I train too, so I'm pretty much on the road until I basically get up at 6 and I get home at 10 p.m., so I didn't get a chance to see any of it yesterday. I'm like, shit, we got to do a show about it tomorrow. So
they just told me that their phone overheated, so Adam's sending you a request so you can add him in a second. But that's how hot it is down here. Their phone literally is blowing up. But it was tough to watch because it was on all day. It was 8 or 9 hours of arm wrestling, so I missed a lot of it too.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see Jerry Carteret have a single match. I know he was there, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I didn't see any of that either.
So, but I watched as much of it as I could.
Yeah.
But and I think the most insane class to me was the 195s. Justin Bishop and Paul Talbot, who are both, likely to win 165s, we're in the finals. It's left-handed. It's incredible. I mean, it's just like, it makes you wonder about all the weight stuff and everything. I think Storm was there. I don't know if he pulled or not because I didn't see him pull either.
I heard he was there, and he just didn't place.
That's hard to believe.
Well, I mean, it's what, it's been said forever, is that the draw fucking matters, man.
It does matter.
That's just the way it is.
But, like, not even, it's strange that he wasn't in the top 5 or 6. 'Cause I saw all the matches from, like, I don't know, probably 7th place on. And,
please hold. We have a call coming in.
Here we go.
And I can't take it because it's going to make it, hold on.
All those people sitting around the pool drinking, they can't get a phone to work. I wonder why, man. This is why you shouldn't drink, everybody. I don't know how Storm did. Someone's saying Storm didn't pull.
Didn't pull. Well, that would make it why he didn't place.
Yeah, because there's no way he wouldn't have been in the top 6 or 7. And Jerry didn't pull either? What the hell? I was wondering why I didn't see them, but I wonder why they didn't pull. Maybe one of them's at the pool and we can ask them.
All right.
If we get them back on.
Now we're working. Hold the phone, people.
So Storm pulled out due to an injury.
Well, that really sucks. I like Storm a lot.
Storm was betting like crazy. I'm sure there's no betting going on. Don't be silly.
In Vegas, why would there be?
In Vegas.
Okay, there was a flash of a picture. There's a lot of static.
I hear some cool sounding static. This is like...
Oh, it's looking better. And we can't hear you at all.
I see 3 faces, though.
We see 3 faces. Nope.
1, 2, 3. They're trying to figure it out. One guy has headphones in. James has headphones in. I wonder if he can hear us.
Oh, there we go.
I hear something.
I hear people.
Speaker on.
Is this hello?
There we go. We good?
There we go.
I hear people.
All right.
Yeah, it's the worst.
All right.
The Three Stooges. I tried to make this the best show ever. Now it's the worst one, man.
No. This happens in every show. It's normal.
Luckily, it's free. What else can I say?
So, James.
Let's get a couple more people on, man.
Yeah, let's do that. Before you get another person, let me ask you a question. What happened with Jerry Carteret and Storm? Was Storm injured and didn't pull?
Storm hurt his back.
Sick last night.
He ate some bad food.
Yeah, I heard he spent the day in the freaking shit.
Oh, that's what happened. That sucks.
Yeah, word to the wise, don't eat a 25-pack of wings and shitty beer before an arm wrestling tournament, okay? It's bad for you.
Yeah,
Eat pancakes and syrup. All right? That's rocket fuel for arm wrestling. That's my last tip.
It's all about nutrition, after all.
I agree with that. It is rocket fuel. Pancakes should be one of the food groups. You know?
Yeah, I got Jason Derizzo over here. He wants to talk to you.
All right, put him on. We'll talk to
Professional.
anybody. Whoever's there, we'll talk to him.
Come on, Jay. Ask him about the amateur tournament, how it went.
Okay.
The amateur.
Leave
Hey,
that
how'd
towel
the
on.
amateur tournament go?
What's going on there, guys?
What's up? What's up?
Oh, hang on. We're trying to hear you. How do we hear a little bit better?
With your ears.
You lean.
All right, there we go. I can hear a little bit.
All right. What's going on, man?
No, not much. Not much. How are you guys doing this morning?
We're great.
Well, it's afternoon.
Well,
I
it's
guess
a
our times are different.
little later than morning, but okay.
It's morning. If you haven't gone to bed yet, it's still morning.
Well,
Yeah, right.
that's true.
So we'll talk a little bit about the amateur tournament.
Let's do it.
I pulled wall amateur now 2 years. This is officially my final amateur tournament entirely. I won't pull amateur again. I only pulled 2 years amateur because I didn't really feel like I personally was at that level of the weight class I'm in. I pull super heavies, and clearly y'all know who's in that class.
Mhm.
Definitely not looking to get myself hurt or injured in any way against the monsters I'll be up against in the future here. I came out here this year hoping to bring home that title. Trained a bit harder for it than I did last year. Came up a little short, finished second to a great puller. So I'm happy with that.
Yep.
How many people were in your class? Do you know?
I want to say there was either 12 or 14 in my left arm class, and there was a bit more in my right arm class. I did a lot more pulling in that class.
That's pretty.
I don't
good.
know exactly who was in my right arm class.
Did you get second both hands?
I got fifth left, I believe, and second with my right.
Well done.
Very good, man. Nicely done.
Thank you. On a level like this, accepting second place is definitely an honor. It is. Like, there's a reason why all the amateurs who made it here. Even the pros who got here like this, it's because we were the best in that respected division.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. How did you feel the whole event went?
Well, for an event that was pretty much thrown together in a 2-week time frame, you got to give it up for Karen and Frank Bean, Bart and Jen Wood, James and Michelle. I mean, and everybody else, Travis Bajan, all these guys to bring what potentially was pretty much a disaster 2 weeks ago. I mean, when that post came out and them emails came out, man, it was a raw deal, and a lot of people were hurt, upset, frustrated, angry, took a huge loss money-wise. And so for all them to get together and make this happen on such a short notice, and the turnout, I'm guessing y'all watched it live.
Yep.
The turnout was pretty impressive.
It was.
Yeah, it was good.
You know, so some of the best in the world showed up.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of the classes were just about as good as they would have been had the big money been there. I mean, the supers were only missing Jerry, and he was there. He just got sick.
Yeah, that's
So, I mean, but
yeah,
what are you gonna do?
So what are you planning
So
on
how you-
next, man?
where am I going to compete next? I'm going to compete next in Syracuse.
It's that tournament you're missing, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Here, let's get
State
James in
Fair.
here.
New York State Fair.
Yeah, that'll be my next tournament.
Yeah.
After that, I'd like to go down to Maryland in October.
Nice.
What's nice about that is the captive audience. You know, last year there was 120,000 people that went through the gates of that place last year, and if you take those finals down, say to an hour and a half before, you cut the tournament off about an hour and a half before dusk. I got a light guy that'll come in. We'll bring the tables outside of our canopy. When those lights go off, everybody in that place is going to want to try to figure out what the hell's going on with those
Oh
lights.
yeah, oh yeah.
Out of 500, 600, that's what we want anyway. We want the public to come over and start looking at this stuff. The more people get over there, the better, man.
I mean, even last year, the crowd, you couldn't find a spot in the bleachers. You could barely stand anywhere to see.
Yeah, what
You know, it drew a good crowd last year around us.
you can't beat it when you got that many people there. What
Right,
else they got to
right.
do, you know? After they have a hot dog, they're coming over to check things out, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be there. The first year I don't qualify for Worlds, I'm coming.
No, I don't blame you, man. This is our third,
Yeah.
so, and they're asking us to come back so every year. So we're gonna be there next year. So you won't have any excuse next year. We'll call you up and you'll have some other thing. You know, hey, I gotta go to Gaines' house for the
I'll start working on my excuse now.
No, that's what we're talking about now. Ice. All right, we're gonna turn the camera over to our boy Ice.
Oh, good. I haven't seen Ice in a while. Let's talk to him.
So, all right, brother. Guys, have a good one. Pleasure speaking to you.
Peace.
Hell yeah. This is fun, man. This is fun. I like this. It's like this is like 2 minute.
Oh,
this is like that lunch dating stuff. Your 2 minute dates.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, dude?
What's up, Ice? How you doing, dude?
I didn't do too well. You know what I mean? I went 2 and out.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just fantastically happy to make it though. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
jeez, that's some dude from Australia. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that dude was amazing. You know what I mean? And Autumn beat me, but man, I'm here. You know?
Yeah, it was worth it. Worth the trip.
Excuse me?
Was it worth the trip?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was pulling with Bill Logsdon for 2 hours afterwards. You know, like.
Oh yeah.
And me, Storm. I trained with Storm. It was definitely. If I could do it again, I'd do it again. You know.
Maybe next year.
I'm guessing you pulled open 65s, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you're light for that class.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I weighed in at 7 fully clear. I've been trying to bulk up, but you know, you know you know what I mean. I be trying to pull anybody. You know, I'm trying to be the best. Like that don't matter. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I see you everywhere. So it seems like you travel around and pull a lot of tournaments all over the place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Anywhere the tournament, like, you know, I know the whole WL thing that kind of bothers people. For me, I get the arm wrestle. That's all that matters. You know.
Yeah,
I don't care.
man.
I wish I could get the purses and this and but I just want to arm wrestle the best. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And now at least I know what I need to work. Now I know I got to do the work. You know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Right.
How long did you guys after pull for?
About 3 hours. They actually told us, they had to tell us, like, okay, like the arm wrestling's done.
Beat it.
You know, we're still back there in the corner pulling. Like I was the last one to leave off that table. You know?
So how are your arms feeling now?
Yeah, they feel like Jello, but if we can find a table, I'm right back in it because it's all about learning and pulling the best. You know what I mean? And you get these legends, and everybody's cool as shit. I mean, sorry. Sorry.
It's all right. You can
say
swear all
anything,
you want.
you can say anything the fuck you want.
Everybody cool as shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the best thing about it. Like pulling with Devin and dudes like that. Like, and when you got dudes like Devin, like, yo, Ice looking good. This dude know me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, fact, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of exciting. You know what I mean? Like to meet all these legends, and this is for me. This was one of the best experiences I've ever had in life. You know, like because
That's great, man.
doing where I'm from, I could be doing a lot of other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I fucking trust. But right here is it keeps me in line, keeps me focused.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I love this shit.
Well, I remember, you know, early on in the Northeast, I remember you first starting to come to the Connecticut states and stuff. So it's really cool to see how far you've come.
A waiver? Oh, I think we got a waiver.
Oh,
What's up? What up, Jody? How's it going?
It's going.
It's going.
No voice
Well, that's okay.
and a rotator cuff tear from yesterday, but other than that, it's fantastic.
That's great.
Coming out here, I told y'all. You know?
So, Ice, how many years have you been pulling now?
6 years, boss.
6 years.
It's
Wow.
hard, long
Longer
years.
than me.
Yes.
Longer than you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna peace out now and go to the pool because it's
Go to the
hot.
pool, okay.
Later, Jody.
You guys.
See ya.
She seems okay. So, so tell us more about what the tournament was like for you.
Oh man, it just to watch the greatest pull, you know, even in my class, watching like dudes like Adam Wilmot, like he's right by me. I've seen him come from here to here, you know what I mean? And watching him was amazing. Yanis, watching him pull was amazing. Ezzy Wharton, who's only been pulling for about 3-4 years.
2 years. I'm sorry, somebody just corrected me. You know what I mean? To watch dudes like him and coming, you know what I mean? Second, he's a monster. Like, man, watching these guys that I pull with and come and pull the best, and watching these dudes from Australia come out, it was just amazing. You know what I mean? It was fun for me.
Did you get to pull all those guys afterwards?
Oh yeah.
Did you pull Jordan Davis from Australia?
That's the dude. Yeah, that's his name.
Okay.
Dude, that's the dude. Dude, I pulled him afterwards. I didn't.
Right.
I thought I could. He let me try this and try that. And, you know, like that's where I was like,
wingman.
Yeah, I gotta step up my game. You know, and I need to, and I want to though. It's not. You know what I mean? It's not only like need. It's a want. You know, you want to be better. You know, you want to fight. You know, you want to put that drive in. You know.
Yeah. He walks around at 190.
I didn't see. For me, not a big deal.
Yeah,
if you win the class, I should be beaten. That's it. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I don't plan on losing to nobody. You know what I mean? Like that's my goal. You know, I want to be able to be like a Roman Tuslusny used to be. You know, like he would pull and smack everybody. You know, like it didn't matter the weight class. That's my mentality about the sport. You know, if you're a grown man, like I'm a grown man, and you be like I bleed, I should be able to beat you. You know, one day I do want to be able to beat dudes like Devin Lorette and Travis Bajan and all that. Could it happen? No, but that's the ultimate goal. And if you set your goal lower than that, then you're not in it. You know what I mean? For the real thing.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. You should try to beat everybody. Are you going to go to Triple A's?
Say what?
Triple A's. Are you going to Triple A's in 2 weeks?
Where's that at?
It's in
Michigan.
Battle Creek, Michigan.
I'm not gonna be able to make Michigan.
Saving himself for the state fair. That's what he's doing.
I'm definitely going to the state fair. Nah, I wish I could. Like, no.
What about? Would you consider going over to Worlds someday?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
You know, I wouldn't be here if I didn't consider, you know, going to Worlds and stuff like that. I would go against. You know, if I could make it. Yeah. You know.
Awesome.
But only like I said, then another thing is like us as arm wrestlers. We ain't got that much bread, you know what I mean? Like I don't got that much money, you know. If I could make it, if I had the money, I'd go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We need a sponsor.
You know, if I had it, you know what I mean. Don't give me. You know what I mean, it's not like I would.
For sure. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're gonna pay, if I don't have to, like, if I had the money to just do whatever I wanted, there'd be no tournament I wouldn't go to, as far as like competition level. Like who gives? If I can make it, who gives a shit? I would go from second.
If I had it, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how long we've been on, but
I like y'all. Y'all's the shit. I like these dudes. I was nervous as hell with that. Like,
no. Let me ask you this question before you run off. If you were gonna have a super match with somebody in the Northeast, who would it be?
Sam Harris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sam Harris.
All right. Where was he? He didn't come, huh?
No,
he wasn't there.
I don't know. He didn't come. He's only 4 hours from me, but I don't. You know, he was definitely should have been one of the favorites. You know.
Yeah.
If I could have a challenge match with anybody, it'd be Sam.
All right. It's good to know. Good to know.
All right, gentlemen. I'm sorry. I got this dude trying to make me up. It's definitely a pleasure, yo. Thank y'all.
All right, man. You got it.
I appreciate it, and thank you for the
Absolutely.
support.
Absolutely, dude. Take care, man.
You want to grab the grippler?
The grippler?
Yeah, we're gonna get the grippler over here for you, buddy.
Oh boy, is he gonna dance for us on camera?
Hey,
that'd be cool.
The person that's seen the most matches, the person that has the most information, Jeff Luke. He was on Facebook all day. He was standing in the center on the stage. He saw just about everything going on. Half of us couldn't see. The crowd was so thick. Half of us couldn't see everything that was going on. But Jeff Luke caught. So you got questions. He's the guy that can answer most of them for you.
Yeah, Jeff, I was listening to you all day, dude.
I don't have much of a voice left, obviously, but so
what did you think of that first match between Todd and Bajent then?
The
crazy
honestly,
one.
That match was confusing. It really was. I try to only give opinion. Nothing that I can say from obviously the organizational standpoint.
We're trying to. We talked about this. We thought this question might come up, and you know what? It got a little heated. it got a little heated, but it worked out. Everything went fine.
No fisticuffs.
No fisticuffs.
It was close.
Yeah, and
It was close.
I really can't think of any. We had an arm break yesterday as an amateur, but I can't think of anything really negative that happened.
No, I think it went great, and like you said, even though the match was a little crazy, it did get resolved the way it was supposed to go, and that's what was important. It took a little while, and I mean, it was chaotic there anyway, because I heard Karen the whole day telling people to get off the stage, and nobody was getting off the stage. So, I mean, there were too many people, but I think they did eventually get it right. And I mean, me watching it, I was very impressed with how it ran. It was very smooth. The matches were amazing. You did a great job catching them, Jeff, because we saw pretty much all the ones that I wanted to see. Somehow, I don't know how you managed to do that.
No,
So I think as everybody's been saying, it's super positive. I mean, everybody did a kick-ass job, and I think that the event was resurrected. So I certainly don't mean it to be negative in any way. I just thought that was a crazy match, and you were right there.
I mean, honestly, it was good. They, obviously two intense guys, both, in the final two, Michael Todd, Travis, you know what I mean? You're going to get hell on the table in the setup. You're going to get hell on the table for the refs. The guys are, they're going early. They're elbow fouling. They both want that hammer. They both want the gold, But, I mean, honestly, at the same time, we had Travis Page and Michael Todd. We had Matt Maz, Devin Lara, and then we had Justin Bishop, Todd Hutchins.
Yep, all at the same time. I know. I remember that. I was like, "What's he gonna do?"
And, obviously trying to cover everything, and I'm like, and I'm swinging the camera, trying not to make everybody seasick, and they're strapping up here, so I jump to another one, and the women, I'm trying to get obviously Michelle, who's a teammate of mine, and I'm trying to get all the women as much as I can, and. I swore up and down I'd get the amateurs going, and during the amateurs, I'm like, guys, I've been going for 5, 6, 7 hours straight. I need a break. So unfortunately, the feed went down for a little while to take a little breather and stuff like that. But it was an awesome tournament. There was a lot of positivity. Stoney's did a great job. Obviously, Travis. I was really surprised that Travis was as focused as he was on the table because he had so much on his plate. Just running around, people asking him this and that and the other thing, and trying to kind of run a tournament and still compete for the gold. I think that really messed with Travis's day a little bit because, obviously everybody pulled hard. I mean, those, you saw the matches with Dave Chafee and all that stuff with, I can't even remember his name, from Norway, took Chafee's left hand, or it might have even been the right, I don't even know, took it right away from him twice.
Shoulder roll?
Even Chafee was like, what just happened? And with a pin pad almost.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there was great. And I mean, obviously, Ian's matches are great. The big guys have really come up. Most of the time you see big guys and you're like, oh, these guys are just raw power. They got no stamina. Once one guy gets 3/4 over, it's pretty much over. They're going to lay on it and it's done. Well, these guys went back and forth all day long. The 65s. The 65s were real tough, man. You had guys like EJ Warden, Ali. Jeez, man.
It was crazy. You're right. You said it. You said it already. It was absolutely nuts. I totally agree.
The positivity was great too. I mean, obviously, the venue was good. And Travis worked hard. Karen Bean and Frank Bean really. I know everybody says, the only people who made money off this tournament was Karen and Frank and Travis, whatever. I don't even know if that's true because, honest to God, man, even being on staff, we didn't get paid. I mean, the refs didn't get paid much. That I didn't get paid much. I don't know what Karen and Frank got paid. James didn't get paid, I don't think, anything. So, I mean, there was this guy, I think his name was Bob Brown, who donated $5,200 to I don't know if it was second place or if he paid for the hammers, but Karen and Frank came up with them hammers for everybody. And Frank got emotional at the tournament, talking about that stuff because they've been in it 30 years,
Michelle came in for that.
Yeah, I honestly, like James just said, Michelle came here for that hammer, and she couldn't pull it off left-handed, came up a little short to Angie Rose, but James yelling at me because I'm talking about his wife's lawsuit. But she came up awesome on the right hand. She really pulled it out, and you could tell that match was tough right-handed, man. She gave it all she had, but she went undefeated right-handed, correct? Undefeated right-handed. But
yeah, I think everything you just said, man, it's like we talk about a lot in this show. The community that we have is really strong, and that's an incredible gesture that Bob Brown did. I mean, Badger was just talking about it on here. And I mean, that's how you show love for the sport right there, man. Because like you said, these people came down there, and for them to have a hammer to bring home, I mean, that means something.
You know, and honestly, with all, you guys know about all the negativity during the fallout from when the announcement went out to when we got everything back up again. And honestly, the turnout that we had at the tournament yesterday spoke volumes. There were still pullers there that said that they weren't coming, and they showed up. I mean, Storm showed up. He didn't pull because he hurt his back. But Joel Huddick showed up. He wasn't going to pull. He ended up pulling. Dina did not pull, stood her ground, and she said she wasn't going to pull, and she didn't pull. But I mean, we had 600 people on the Facebook feed. We had 560 people in the venue, 17,000 shares, 2,300 comments on one of the live feeds. So we were doing really good, So even after all the negativity, it still really came through, and everybody's still mad, and they're going to be. But I said, it's just on pause, hopefully, man, and we'll get back to it. But there's always stuff in the works. You know how it goes, man.
Well, what it proves really is the arm wrestling community is never going to go anywhere.
No,
that's just the way.
And if WAL did nothing else, look at how many hundreds of people it brought together. Honest to God, I mean, I would have never met Ian. I'd have never met Jason. I mean, me and James have known each other a long time, but I'd have never met Brian Malik over here, Adam Wilmot, or none of them guys. Chafee, Travis, Todd. For this sport. You guys. You know what I mean? So,
we're in the golden age of wrestling right now, that's for sure. I mean, regardless of how.
Here, I'll let you talk with Gripper for a minute. I'm gonna save my voice.
All right, man.
Save your voice, Jeff.
So, I think we're in the golden age right now because WAL set a template. It's like, okay, this guy went so far with it, he did well, but now someone's gonna take that and say, you know what, he had something there. How can we make it better? Maybe Kaplan reached the end of his rope. Maybe it's time to pass the torch to somebody else. Maybe it's on us to promote ourselves through social media and things like what you're doing, and start marketing ourselves as a brand and be proud of saying I'm a professional arm wrestler. That's a thing. Fuck yeah, it's a thing. Wake up.
Yeah.
Get a TV.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever hear. I get annoyed when people say arm wrestling's a sport. Well, is darts a sport? Is bowling a sport? Fuck yeah, it's a sport.
Yeah. If golf's a sport, this is.
Okay, it blows my mind. You want to watch golf? Arm wrestling, you can't take your fuck. If you've been to a live event, you don't even sit down. How many people have gone to a live event? You put tables and chairs, and everybody's rushed to get the good seats, and guess what? They're never good seats because everyone just stands 2 feet from the table. They want to be there. They want to feel the energy. There's a kinetic thing going on, vibrating through people's blood, and everyone's cheering their guy, and they're making bets, and it's a family. And I'm saying I'm better than you, he's better than you, or who's gonna win? I think Mask's got to win. I got $20 on there, whatever. And we just and it's like its own life. It's like a vibe you can't control. You're right. And I mean, did you guys see it? Did you watch it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was some wars and some upsets, like Todd Hutchins. What happened there, right?
Yeah.
And he's a man, and everybody. That was Travis reached the end of his rope. He ended up blowing a pec. There was so many studs. Man, I was blessed to finish 5th and 6th. I'm thinking and no injuries. Yeah. I was like, man, I'll take that. And a field that deep, the best arm wrestlers in the world showed up to a tournament that should have been suited for the best arm wrestlers in the world. You know what? Those people decided to drop out. That's on them. But we as a community, we came together, and I'm from Canada. These guys are from overseas, and Americans all over the country, Canadians all over the country. We came out, we were a brotherhood, and that's what we need to represent.
Yeah, for sure.
I totally agree, man. I think a lot of people are resonating with what you just said, man, online. People are giving you a lot of love for it. And I completely agree with you. I think that what happened and all you guys did just shows the strength of the sport and the potential that's there. And I hope you're right. I hope someone does pick it up and runs with it. Whatever happened to Steve or with Robert drank before, but hopefully somebody will come in and run with all those things you just described.
Right. I mean, like, okay, so when you looked at the UAL, we were like, man, that's awesome. They're making it look like a real thing. They're making it look like a professional sport. And then the WAL was like, yeah, that looks good, but maybe we're going to tweak it like this and then make it presented to this demographic. And then it took it to another level. And then all we need is somebody that's like, you know what? It was missing this. And then whatever that fucking this is, and hopefully those people are a lot smarter than me and they have a lot deeper pockets.
You just said it. You just said it. What was missing is people like you, Ben, because the WAL missed out on including the community and everything. And when you guys did it as a community, look what happened. It's the best tournament that they put on.
Tell me something. When you're looking at other sports, right, and you want to know about the life of a football player or whatever, and they'll usually talk about the shit that happened to them when they were growing up, right, and they had a hard childhood. But now, ever since they got that $5 million contract, they're living pretty high on the hog, right? Name me one fucking arm wrestler that lives high on the hog. We work our asses off every day, and then we got to give time to our kids, and then we got to give time to our wife, and then when we have the time, we work out and we arm wrestle, and we do it because I want to see James, I want to see the boys, and then I want to represent. I want to say, look, this is how much work I've done. You know, like 2 years ago, I wasn't even on anybody's radar. Chicago, I get 2 wins on Travis Bajan. Holy fuck! Now I think I'm the cock of the walk. Guess what? Showed up with the best in the world, got put in my place, and then that's my starting point for next year. Now I really know where I'm at, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity if we didn't have this event. Should it have been what it should have been? Yes. Was it? No. But was it still a great fucking experience? Was it everything that I never got into the sport because I thought I was going to get rich?
You got in the wrong sport.
Yeah, in the wrong sport. If I wanted to get rich, should it happen down the road? Okay, I'll tell you what. If I never make a cent for this sport, but I enjoy it, and then I pass it on to my kid, and then maybe you guys blow up and get us all kinds of money because whatever you're doing, sponsorships or whatever, and then there's a real league that you can go in and make a living, and it's my boy who does it, then I did my job.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if I have to be a character to help sell that, so Bobby Sue and Joe Schmo like, oh, I like that character. I wanna follow him and buy a Grippler shirt, then yeah, I'll do that. I don't give a shit. Like, I got personality anyway, and I'm handsome. So like, what?
Do you think format of tournament versus one-on-one? Do you think one-on-one competition would maybe benefit people following individuals better?
You know what? Yes and no. Here's what I think. I think you always have to have a tournament. When you want to say who come in strutting and who's going to take out everybody in this room, that is ultimate in my opinion. That being said, if I'm going to say that I am better than you, the only fucking way to prove that is to go one-on-one.
Sure.
So you got six eggs in one, half dozen in the other. What you like, right? So what you got to think, though, is how can we combine the both? Well, what is it? What formats do we want to see? Okay, so let's say we got the top 5, or top 6 to make an even number. We have them get challenged by anybody that reaches like the top 6 of like a major. Let's say they're not allowed to go to the first major. Then they automatically qualify as the main events for the next major. So those guys don't have to do the tournaments. And what's the tournament for? It's for everybody else that want a shot at the next guy in line.
Like a good idea.
It's just piggybacking on the next event. All right. So say I'm the number 1 guy. So I'm sitting pretty till the end of the event when the top 6 guys that sort them shit out gets the right to face me in a super match. Okay. Maybe it's not that event because they'd be tired or whatever, but maybe the next event I get say James finishes number 1, that he gets to go against number 1 rank. The guy who got number 2, he goes against the number 2 rank in the tournament. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that
we get it.
The lower half a shot and you get to market the guys. Okay,
You should grab those guys around the pool and have a meeting right now, man, and start a new league because you get a lot of good ideas.
At least because we have a tournament, we need the tournament to have everybody doing the camaraderie thing. But we need the super matches to exploit our athletes and give them the stage to command on their own.
I love your enthusiasm, man. I love it.
What's that?
I said I love your enthusiasm.
I mean, look. I mean, did you see the super match between Travis and I?
Yes.
Did you watch it? Okay. It wasn't close. It was 3-1 Travis, but fuck, it was entertaining, wasn't it? Why? Because I pushed him off the table. I yelled at him. He yelled at me. I told him he couldn't do shit. You know, we stole the show. And that's what people like. They want to know who's this fucking crazy Canuck and who's that, big loudmouth American. And like, pick your hero. Pick your guy.
Same thing almost happened to me and Joshua Grant. I came close to taking him down at Toys for Tots.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I was the hero. Nobody wanted to see him to win. You know what I mean? It was that same kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's why, like sports like boxing and UFC, they make so much emphasis on and getting to know the star. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, I believe arm wrestling is a bit unique in that we need that tournament too, because the tournaments say a lot. There are tournament pullers and there's one-on-one pullers, and I'll tell you, generally, if you can be a guy who's consistently winning a tournament all the time, that's generally the best arm wrestler.
Hey, we hate to have to cut you guys off, but we're getting kicked out of this cabana. Kill me because he's starving, and we ran out of people. Other people were in the pool; they're not getting out.
That's okay.
So,
that's okay.
They can carry my side out of here, eh?
Hope you got people, man. I hope it was good for you.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thanks, man.
Take care, peace, boys.
Later, guys.
I'll see you.
So, that was fun. We got to talk to a whole bunch of people. Yeah, man.
There we go.
He's got a lot of enthusiasm. He got a lot of good ideas. RVJ was sending me texts all the week about he's got an idea to jump off from everything that has been created in a more positive direction. I think the main thing is the next league, the next guy who comes along is that the community's got to be involved. I mean, a lot of mistakes that they made wouldn't have been made if they had given actual authority and decision making instead of just hiring, Bart Wood to referee and stuff. If he had been one of the decision makers, a lot of things would have changed, Like you always said, he would have said, we have rules, let's use the rules that we know, because there's a reason, as you've said before, that they've been refined down to the point where they are.
It took 40 years of work to get there, so I mean,
right.
There's legitimacy to them. It's kind of hardened by fire, if you want to, speak about it like that. It's been tested because people did it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, cool. It sounded like it was a great tournament.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and the Australians kicked ass. I mean, a lot of countries didn't show up, which I can't blame them for, but the Australians came, and I mean, Jordan Davis looked like he was having the time of his life over there, man, and Danny Tesh, he was right up there.
I heard that name a lot, so he must have done well.
Well, he was a serious contender. He did really well, which I'm not surprised by. I watched videos from him, the Australian Nationals and other, and I'm like, man, this guy's a beast. So I was not surprised about that at all. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about things that people were surprised about. I wanted to remind you, John, that I thought Michael Todd was going to win because of the WL rules and the setup and the size of the pad and everything else. So I would like some money for getting that one prediction that I made.
Oh, it's already in the mail.
Okay, good. Yep. I just want to make sure. Because I have things. It's my birthday tomorrow, by the way. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be 46, and I would like to buy some presents for myself. But, dude, Dave Chafee took him down pretty easily in the prelims. Maybe it was maybe 3 seconds. And then the first match they had at the end with the super match format, he also took him down. And then, Michael Todd's, the genius of his technique, whatever you want to say about it, you like it, you don't like it, is that it wears people out. And he knows exactly how to adjust it, to change the position, to drain you. And then he waits. And then usually what ends up happening, similar to what with Crazy George, is people just give up. And he just brings you right over. And that's what he did. Mm-hmm. And you could see him adjusting and adjusting. It's not like people just sit there in the bone lock and do nothing. There's a lot of technique there, and you can, if you watch that match, those of you who did, you can see it. There's a lot of fighting and adjusting and changing of the grip and his angles, and he outlasted Dave. It was really something to watch.
Yeah, and you know, that whole styles makes matches thing too. You know, Dave is strong as shit, but it's a real problem if you want to try to beat Michael Todd more than once just by going sideways. And I'm not saying that that's all that Dave can do and that's all Dave does. I mean, Dave has an incredible hand on him too. He is one of those rare guys who has a pretty solid lane, but has a really, really solid hand to go back with it. Makes him really dangerous. But that direction, and the same thing with Crazy George. There's a lot of great arm wrestlers that have fantastic side pressure that get hung up with Crazy George. It's the same thing. You can't just pound through that move once the rotation takes over. You can't just pound through it. This is not a move that just happens. And I mean, it's the same. It's that thought of, well, I'll just do the same thing just harder next time. It doesn't work. You'll just get you'll just get further in underwater doing it. And yeah, great job to Michael Todd. That move, his style, like Devin said, his damage that he has on his body just from, you know, giving us entertainment basically. It's not built for tournaments. It's not. But he did it. So you're the man, Michael Todd. Nothing but good things to say about that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed, and especially after how he did it, the WAL tournament that we all saw when, you know, Travis flashed him. It was questionable whether he was going to be able to figure it out or recover in time, but he clearly did. So
yeah, you know, and it comes down to, again, you know, maybe he was a little less damaged this time. You never know. Like, meaning maybe he rested properly this time. Maybe that's where most of his, you know, his extra horsepower came, was from being able to apply it. Because we don't, like, one thing you'll never hear from Michael is how fucked up he is. Like, meaning before a tournament, he's just going to pull. You know, and it's the same thing like he told Neil before he blew his left elbow. My left's all fucked up. He's going to have to break it. And then the guy did. But that's how crazy he is. Like, he just, I don't give a shit. You're going to have to break the thing. So he's going to go in no matter how fucked up he is.
Which I love.
Yeah,
I love that attitude.
You have to love it. You might never want to do it, but you have to love that shit.
That's the thing. People complain about the King's move and stuff, but if you just pay attention to the kind of person he is and how serious he is and what a competitor he is and all the stuff that you just mentioned, I mean, how could you not like the guy, you know?
Yes, and, you know, you don't have to like that move, whether it's because you can't figure it out or because you don't like the way it looks. But in any case, there are people out there that have given people the blueprint on how to beat that.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's some impossible thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's been beat. Mm-hmm. There's people that have done it. There's videos you can watch all day long about exactly how to do that. Mm-hmm. It's just not easy. And it takes a brain. It takes slowing down and being a technician. Maybe just for that one move. Maybe you don't want to be a technician for anything else. You just want to be stronger than everybody. Well, that one thing, it's not going to work that way.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the sport. The 10th strongest guy will beat that move more consistently than the second strongest guy. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same
You've
thing
said that before.
Crazy George, Anthony Delantonia.
Michael Todd just joined our program. You just missed all the compliments we've been giving you, Mike, so you should rewind this later on and listen to us.
It's been a real Michael Todd love fest, actually. Congratulations for your win. That was fantastic.
Seriously, dude. I mean, it was amazing. I think, I think your Ryan actually posted that people in the United States were starting to sleep on Michael Todd a little bit because he's pulled overseas quite a bit lately, and I don't think anyone's sleeping now, so they woke up.
Yeah, I mean, well, now we're talking about the internet. I mean, it is what it is. So people.
Well, the internet. That's what we're on right now. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm talking to you people.
Yeah. All of us
if someone has a bad streak, it doesn't mean that they're it's completely over for that guy. It's the same thing we talked about with I can't remember who it was, but we talked about somebody had a bad someone filmed like the end of a 4-hour. It might have been Vigent. Someone films the end of a 4-hour practice, and someone's getting their ass kicked. Oh, it's over for him, and all of a sudden this is their new status in the arm wrestling world. Is is a 40-second clip at the end of a practice. That's their new status in the sport.
Let's bring up another thing about Mike Todd that I mentioned earlier, and that was that first match with Travis we were just talking about. The thing that I thought was so cool about it is that Mike stayed at the table, and everybody was like, "Match is over. He won. It's over." And he refused to leave the table. And if you watch the video, he was there for like 5 minutes. He refused to leave the table, and he kept saying his point over and over and over again. And finally, they listened, and they started the match over again. Most people would have been like, that was fucking bullshit, and walked away. And they might have stayed there for a little while, like, come on, what the hell, look at a replay, but eventually given up. But Mike was not leaving the table. I was like, he's going to stay there until the match starts over again. And he had to stay there for like 5 minutes before they did it, but they eventually did it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I saw that match, and I just was mostly just confused.
Well, it was confusing because obviously from our vantage point where Jeff was, Travis's elbow foul was, as I said, it was like 7 feet. So it was blatant. But for whatever reason, the ref was looking at Mike's elbow and not Travis's, so it got missed. But the point is they made the correction, and the match got restarted, and, Mike won that one because Travis fouled intentionally, probably thinking he was going to have a better shot later on. I guess he hurt his pec at some point. But anyway, it was a very fascinating match to watch.
Yeah. It's similar to how Todd Hutchings, if he loses his hand, how he pulls in the strap. I was watching him and this wasn't in the strap, but I was watching him and Craig Tullier battle, which, by the way, Craig Tullier is this close. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was awesome. But anyway.
Yeah, Craig posted about that earlier, that he was, even though he lost, he was very excited about how it went because he was so close.
That was great. That was fantastic. But, like, we'll say Jerry Catarat loses his wrist, or even, gives up his wrist, because a lot of times he doesn't lose it. He just says, fuck it. So, dead wrist press, bam, right? Starts pressing this way. He presses straight through the center of his hand, straight through his palm. He doesn't care about rotation or nothing. He just goes this straight down, right? Todd Hutchings and Michael Todd, how he was pulling, when he loses his wrist, they don't lose it and go straight through the center. They lose it and go through rotation.
Yeah,
it's very
what it
unique.
Looked like he was doing.
It's very unique. And it's the same thing that Todd does, Todd Hutchings. So, instead of going this way, they're going sideways here through the rotation. And when you have hand control on that, it looks like this, right? But what it ends up looking like once they get more rotation is it looks like this. So you end up being very even. It's very unique to pull with your hand flopped through your rotation.
You put massive pressure on your elbow.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. I don't know if the reason they do it is because other people's elbows can't take that kind of torture, or if they haven't figured out how to pull that way.
Well, I think, I don't really quite know. Maybe it's because they're pulling more towards the corner than straight towards the peg. Jerry, when he flop wrists, he doesn't, there's nothing like, and this is not to be insulting to Jerry, there's nothing pretty about it. He goes towards the peg or towards you. That's not the way you're supposed to do that. is what everybody would tell you. Obviously, it works fine for you, Jerry. Don't stop doing it. But, that's not, like, we talk about arm wrestling, we talk about leverage, we talk about, technique, right? Of where do you tell a new guy to pull? You pull towards the corner, right? You pull. Going towards the peg or going towards you is pushing, right? So when someone loses their hand and pulls, that's a unique pressure. And to be able to do it, because, try it sometime and practice slow pulling in the strap. You'll go, holy shit, those guys are strong.
It hurts. Yeah, it hurts, and it requires incredible power. Absolutely. Because I have tried it, and it sucks. And I suck at it. But, you see that what Todd Hutchings does is his training techniques, when he has the flexible strap attached to the, like a flexible band, and then he has the strap underneath it, so the band goes to a certain point and catches him, and then he's just pulling against a rigid strap. He just sits there with that straight side pressure. So I don't know how long he's been doing that, or how he had to start doing it to be even able to do it that way. But that's how you build that power. You just, as Allison posted something about Todd and his training, that he's up at 4 a.m. and he's out in the shed training, and he comes back at 8 p.m. at night and does it again every single day all year long. And if you commit to something like he does, and Chris Godby actually said this at one point too, that Todd Hutchings already showed everyone how to do it, but nobody has the guts to do it. That kind of thing. That's the truth.
It's definitely partially true. I mean, you do have to look at certain things. Obviously Todd found 100% Todd Hutchings' way of training.
Right.
And the fact is that Todd never stops looking. It's not like he's like, I'm doing this, I'm just going to do this until I die. He's constantly looking at new things and throwing new things in there, and if it doesn't work, he stops doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like most athletes do, especially strength athletes, because it gets really easy to become stagnant when it comes to power. It just is. Just pure hard work. We all know that if you just do the same things over and over again, just harder, it doesn't necessarily give you the best benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Variation does, which is what Todd preaches, by the way. The West Side method.
Right.
Which is
conjugate method.
Yeah, which is constant variation, right? So, yes, he did. He showed us how Todd Hutchings gets strong.
Well, it's an interesting point because not everybody can train the way he does, or even should train the way he does. But I think you might be right. He's a smart person, and he probably just has figured out exactly how to train his particular body, his particular set of tendons and muscles, and that's why that stuff has. He's developed. He's got to be pretty close to the peak amount of strength, whatever his genetic code can withstand or provide. But anyway, his technique is very unique. It's amazing to watch. It's fun to try to copy it, and it's just incredible the amount of power he creates in a position that appears to be weak.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Like you said, it's a unique spot. But lefty, he made fourth place, which is somewhat of a surprise by itself. And the people who won the 195s lefty, Talbot and Bishop in second place by itself is incredible.
Yeah, that's true, for sure.
And I know I saw a couple people say stuff like, Storm wasn't there and RVJ wasn't there, but Mike Solaris was there and Todd Hutchings was there. It's not like they went through a bunch of guys.
And the thing is too, like they
went through real people.
I hate hearing that shit. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, make them come or buy their plane tickets? Like,
right?
People showed up. Who showed up? Yeah. So
exactly, you can only pull right. So if you showed up, it's not your fault. Someone else didn't show up. Everybody was invited. All the people that qualified, they didn't go. They didn't go. And regardless, Solaris was there. Hutchings was there. It's not like they pulled a bunch of no names to get there. So it's just incredible. And it makes you wonder about the whole weight class stuff anyway. If they're winning 165s and they can win 195s, I mean, how much of a value is cutting the weight to begin with?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, we have some data here that's confusing everybody.
Yeah, it's confusing me for sure. I mean, I saw them in there. I was like, oh, that's interesting, but I was like, I sort of thought, like Tony Kotowski, they're going to do well, but I don't think they can win. And they proved me wrong, So Paul Talbot and Justin Bishop, mad props to you guys, man. Good work.
Yes, for sure.
And then, Devin again with two hammers.
Yep.
But I mean, I know what he was saying when he was on the show earlier, but if you look at those matches, Matt Mask is catching up. It's simple as that. He's getting closer and closer, and he did pin him once, regardless of what Devin was saying about playing. He wasn't playing in that match, he got pinned. And Matt got very close to pinning him a second time.
Was that did he pin him left or right-handed?
He pinned him. I can't remember. I think it was left.
I didn't see that.
But again, when you watch Devin pull, and you can sit there and see it, you see him do the adjustments, adjust, and he finally gets to that position where he's comfortable. And once he gets there, it's over. I've never seen anybody beat him from there.
Right.
And so that's what Matt's got to watch. He's got to watch those videos over and over again and watch those little micro adjustments that Devin does expertly and probably better than anyone, So he gets into a deficit right out in the beginning, and Matt's power level is obviously improved. Almost pins him, and then you can watch Devin's expression. He's gritting his teeth. He's like pulling as hard as he can, and then little by little, he starts to get comfortable.
Yep.
So that's what Matt's got to stop. Not that that's an easy thing to do, but you can watch the videos for yourselves and just watch it happen second by second.
Yeah, those things aren't easy, but honestly, when you have one person who is basically cinching in, basically meaning whenever there's any kind of slack in the match, then they cinch up and they get, to where they're not going to give it back. It usually comes from a failed adjustment on the other side. So, I mean, I didn't watch the match. I'm just kind of going with what I've seen historically from those kind of matches. There really isn't anything to cinch if you don't create the slack.
Yeah.
And speaking from my perspective of being that guy too, a lot of the times where I usually am the one struggling at the beginning and not as much at the end.
Right.
If somebody makes an adjustment that's gonna fail, I'm there to cinch it up.
And we've both experienced that with Norm Devio.
Yes, and if people didn't make those adjustments, I wouldn't have any place to go. Because you have to pick up the slack. And Matt's strong enough, he's close. I mean, and the thing is too with Matt, what's really unique about him is that, or unique about the situation really, is that you have someone like Devin, and then you have someone like Matt who are the same weight, and they're the same size, which is kind of rare. Because we all talk about how he has long levers and all this kind of stuff, and it's a very unique body style. That's what we all thought, right? That Devin is this long and strong arm wrestler who's uniquely built. And we're kind of all realizing now that some of the most efficient and best arm wrestlers are built that way. Like, they have more options.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, in the same exact weight class from the same country, everything, comes his clone with a mop head. And, who better to take it, really? So it sets up something pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then you got this guy in there who, everybody's known forever, Ron Bath, who's just strong as shit still, and gets in there too and just mixes it all up as well. So that 225 class is really, really interesting. I would have liked to seen Marcio in there.
Yeah, someone just asked, was he there? And he was not there.
No, he was not, and that would have been. He would have been. Just throw all the ingredients in the blender and see what comes out, because that guy, just his style alone. His versatility alone, too. But really, his style of just smashing. He can just ruin someone's day like that.
He can.
He just can because of his style.
Right.
And he's dangerous. And, all of a sudden, someone gets put to the B-side that really maybe nobody thought was going to be. That changes everything.
It does. Yeah. There were a couple big names missing, but to be honest, at every WL event, there's always a couple people missing, so you can never get the perfect set.
On the planet, unfortunately, because of the way the sport is, there's no event where you say, everybody showed up. It's just the way it goes. So, it's definitely, I just like Marcio.
I'm with you. Marcio's a great guy, and it would have been fun to see him pull.
Right.
I was specifically looking forward to seeing Marcio and Ron Bath pull, because I just think that they have that.
They have a great, they just have a great rivalry.
Exactly. They dig in there, and you have that long war, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, for a long, long time they've been pulling each other and going back and forth.
I never get tired of watching it, though. I just think
never. It's always a little different. That's why.
I know.
It's always a little different.
So, all right, guys, we had a lot of fun talking to all these people, and hope you enjoyed it and heard everybody yelling in the background. That was fun too. I'm going to listen to it again because there was all kinds of people were arguing about what we were saying on the show in the background behind the screen, which was making me laugh frequently. So it was awesome. And next week, I think we have Mr. Brad Spine coming on. In case you're not aware, he's going to be on American Ninja Warrior on Tuesday.
No shit.
Yep. So awesome. It might be Monday night that he's going to be on. Yeah, I think it's July 3rd he's going to be on.
Brad's a freak, man.
He is a freak. And then he's going to come on our show Wednesday so we can talk to him about his freaky ability both at American Ninja Warrior and gymnastics and arm wrestling. So that'll be fun. And anyway, thanks, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Peace. Fade out.